Bum, 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 bum. Bring the action. Bum,
Feeling hot.
bum, 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 bum.
Oilers Nation Radio episode whatever. That was not the button I meant to hit. Here we go. Oilers Nation Radio episode whatever. We moving. We dancing.
What a trip.
We're grooving. All because they played S Club 7 yesterday at Rogers Place.
They did.
That got me bopping on my chair.
Peg Milk here, Liam, Dan, Rick, Tyler, gang's all here. We are in studio for Oilers Nation Radio, delivered by our friends at Oodle Noodle. We got a lot to talk about. The boys are rolling. Big win last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning, but as we do every week for our friends at Oodle Noodle, now with 18 locations and counting, the delicious debate with my friend Tyler Yaremchuk.
Hey guys, the Oilers have won 5 games in a row.
Whoop.
Pretty good. Pretty good. This week, the delicious debate is how long could the winning streak last? Or how long do you think the winning streak will last? They get Vancouver on Saturday, Columbus next week, Chicago after that. And then to kick off February after the All-Star break, it goes Detroit, Philly, Ottawa, Montreal, Detroit again. Pour it on! It's a lot of games against teams that are not in the playoffs. 8 of them to be exact. So how long will the Oilers winning streak go?
13.
You think they're winning all 8?
Well, probably not. But in my heart, I think 13 is 100% doable based on the opposition. You have to play the way you did last night against Tampa, against Vegas, against Seattle. But if they can keep that rolling, there's no reason they can't beat any of those teams.
Just don't play down to your competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just for the record, there are 2 back-to-back 10:30 a.m. games in there.
Oh yeah. Saturday,
Really?
Sunday.
Yeah. Well, the Sunday one is the Super Bowl. We always play in the Super Bowl. We always play first thing.
And we
I'm surprised they just don't avoid the Super Bowl.
And
well, no,
don't we
because
always-
they kicks off at like 4:30, right? So they're done. Like the NHL won't. They're done their games by like 3.
I just, my thought is, why even dance on Super Bowl Sunday anyway?
Yeah.
For,
Yeah. Against Montreal on that Super Bowl Sunday. So
and then Ottawa
what's
the
your
day
answer?
before. I'm going 10.
So you think they win the first 5 of them?
So
I
we
think
got
that's
5 in the
fair.
bank. 5 more to come.
I like a double digit.
Why not? Nation Dan?
I love the positivity all of a sudden on the podcast.
I've always been here.
I'm
Don't listen to any past episodes.
the last time, other than in Vegas, the last time we spoke on this podcast, Rick and I were very positive and everybody else was a little bit more negative.
Yep.
And I think that
Now they're joining our side.
I think that we've come to this side and
Welcome,
I'm going the
gentlemen.
other way. I still don't think that this team has proven to me that it can play against the shit teams consistently. And so I would say that it's probably going to they'll beat Vancouver. I would imagine that they probably have a slip up against Columbus.
Liam, you're up.
You said they played Detroit after the All-Star break?
Yeah. In Detroit.
In Detroit. That's when it'll end for me. So
I'm with you.
3 more.
Yeah. 3 more.
So I'll say 8.
Why do you think that?
Just because you kind of lose your mojo a little bit coming through the break. You're on the road. Like Detroit, it's a hockey place, right? Like those.
What's
that's not
Detroit's
my
schedule? Are they like we have that week off? There's All-Star game in there, but then there's our bye week in there too. Right?
Yeah.
So we're off for a while then.
Yeah, we are. Like
So
we
maybe
play
it's because
Chicago
of
on the 28th of January, and then we don't play until Feb 7 against the Red Wings.
Hell am I supposed to do with my life?
I know. The Wings play on the 27th against the Islanders, and their first game back, so their gap is actually bigger, but they're at home. That's why I'm going with it, is because you're coming out of the All-Star break on the road, I think is a bit of a tough ask.
We both get that much time off?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Try
So
it
then
one
it
more
just
day.
could be legit sloppy anybody's
Yeah.
game, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just give the
Could be.
advantage to the home team, to be honest.
Yeah. That's
Not
where
me.
I was going.
Too much
Fuck them kids.
Little Caesar's pizza over there.
Yep.
Sure.
Also, fuck them kids,
Yeah.
Why not?
right?
Yeah.
I'm going 13.
Going all 8, eh?
Why not?
Right, as
Bet
well.
big or go home.
How many games do we have left this season?
35?
Yeah, throw it all on.
40? Going 40 now?
40 in a row.
If the Bruins can basically
For the
do it, why
record,
not
though,
us?
for the record, if you do 13, that means we lose at home to Detroit. So I'd say 14 because then you could like lose at home to the Rangers.
Okay, I'll go 14.
There you go.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Rick convinced me.
So-
This is how the team works here.
So
Yep.
we're talking about a potential heater. We're talking about how soft the schedule is. And then you look at the Pacific Division standings.
Sakes.
One day we'll figure out what that
Stupid
beeping is. Have you ever figured it out?
It's when it's something to do with the Google timer I use to make sure that we stay somewhat on track. Like I just close that tab and it goes away.
Weird.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now we don't know
I
how
like
much
when we
time
get
there's left.
curveballs in this.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes in. Don't worry, I got it locked on.
The Oilers win 5 in a row. They've beaten, Vegas mainly, but Seattle as well. And now you look at the Pacific Division standings. Seattle,
They're right there.
Seattle is 45 games, 58 points. Vegas, 46 games, 58 points. LA and Edmonton both have 47 games, so a little bit more than Vegas and Seattle. But LA 56, Edmonton 55. They are suddenly 3 points back of the top spot in the division. I know there's games in hand there. I know. But still, it's interesting. So part 2, what % chance do you give the Oilers of winning this division still?
100.
Yeah, they're in the mix. Like
We're taking it.
Rick put a bet down the other day that I wish you would have texted me. I would have tailed you on it.
Oh, the bet. Yeah.
Our friends at Betway, like
I thought it was gonna be there this morning too. I went and checked. It was plus 300. I was like, don't get me wrong, that's still good money, but
of course,
plus 700 for the Oilers to win the division.
it really is amazing how much a week and a half can change things. Because after that LA loss, it was come on,
But that's what did it.
and that's what did it.
It's gonna upset so many people. But you know what? The start
A couple of scraps get the whole band going.
How many people on Twitter are gonna listen to this thing and absolutely lose their minds over that?
Well,
But
here's
it brought
the
the team
thing.
together.
In January, and this includes last night against Tampa Bay, and we'll get there. 5 fights for the Oilers in January. They had 5 the entire season before that.
Interesting. Dan,
They are
thoughts?
jumping in the pile for each other right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what, like I said, when we go back to that episode, the LA Kings were pushing the Oilers around, and Jesse Puljujarvi decided to push them back, and he got beat up for it. But I feel like the Oilers watched that and were like, I didn't like that, and then they watch Hyman go out and have a fight, and you could sense between Hyman and Draisaitl. Draisaitl wasn't a big fan of Hyman fighting, but Hyman just decided to do it.
And it wasn't like spurt, like it wasn't like he was like, hey, I'm taking this fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like someone dropped the gloves and you want to go?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take this. Looks like I'm gonna take it. Like you're making a statement at that point.
And then a guy like a Brendan Lemieux is a guy like Corey Perry, where you probably want to skate away from that one as Costin, but you've already lost the game. Why not win the war? And that's what he went out and tried to do. And this team, you sensed it. You feel like when you get that fight back and that pushback for each other, that it just keeps pushing forward and it helps the next.
You can
one.
see it in their game. They're like on their toes now. They're playing forward. They're playing aggressive. They're not reacting. They're starting everything now. This is a different team. If they keep playing like this,
I just want to make another
trouble for the league.
I just want to make another comment on how well they seem to be gelling as a unit. Jay Woodcroft basically doesn't have forward lines. He's just like, it's a novice team. He's like opening the door, being like, you, and you go. And I wonder if like they're fighting for each other. Everyone is playing with everybody at some point. And usually I don't like that. Usually I say, establish your lines, let them build chemistry. But I wonder if that almost isn't building up a greater room chemistry when it's like, Derek Ryan, you're getting 4 shifts with Connor, 3 with Evander Kane, 2 with Nuge, 4 with Costin. There's your night. Give her. Like, let's go. Keeps these guys maybe even on their toes a little bit.
Well, you don't know when you're going to end up on the ice and with who. Got to be ready. You could be with Connor, Leon, Nuge. Like there's some options here where guys have big chances to make a contribution to the team, not just like a defensive zone face off. You grind it out in your own zone and then you bounce off the ice for somebody else. They're in the mix and a lot of people are contributing right now.
You mean like the 6'7" apple tree?
The big man's moving.
4 assists in 5 games?
3 or 4?
3.
Is it 3?
3.
I get ahead of myself?
Vinny Desharnais is
Vinny Apples.
Again, he's one of my favorite stories in recent memory. And there's a couple because obviously Klim Kostin is another guy in there. But when you're a 7th round pick, nobody expects anything of you. 0. And he's come into Edmonton. He's putting up some apples because he's playing a simple game that suits his style. He just picks up the puck at the blue line and he rips it on the net.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, but damn it, is it effective.
Now try going to our net and do something.
And he's just gigantic. Too.
He's huge.
The other day he got an elbowing penalty and he wasn't even looking at the guy. And it's just because he's way up there and that guy was way down there and his elbows are just at head height. Unbelievable showing from Vinny so far.
Can I share with you a quote from his interview with Jason Gregor?
You may.
Yes, please.
Which I would imagine will find its way to our site at some point. So make sure you look for it at Oilersnation.com. Vincent Desharnais broke his nose on his first on his first shift versus Vegas. Vinny goes on to say they reset it in the first intermission, took 3 cracks, then 1 more after the game. It didn't feel great.
Dude, okay, so the first three, those are going to suck.
What?
Those are going to suck, but at least you got like the adrenaline flying and stuff, right? So maybe it's a little bit, but after the game, I want to know how long. 20 minutes? Because, dude, when you start to come down, that's going to hurt.
No wonder he said he had a glass of wine on the flight back. Oh my God.
I just thought he was living that red wine lifestyle, but maybe that was a little bit medicinal and therapeutic all at the same time. I'm so excited for the guy because, again, I don't know how much he's going to play with the Oilers by the end of the year or where he's going to end up, but he's playing like he wants to stick. He's playing like he hates Bakersfield.
Well, he should. I don't.
Okay.
I hear it's not a very nice city. That's all.
Take that Bakersfield. Shots fired.
I just heard it's not a very nice city. Like you said on the radio earlier, Taylor, when I was driving in, I heard you talking, and I obviously you still want to. You don't need that shutdown, like that big defenseman. You don't need it, but you need a defenseman, I think. And I don't know who you take out at this point.
It's
hard.
They're gonna go make a trade for a D-man at some point. I think with the way Broberg's playing specifically, it's kind of like, damn, maybe you don't need to give up the first rounder for a D-man anymore because Broberg looks damn good.
He's looked really good. And I say that as somebody who, I mean, even in Vegas, I was open to just being like, well, maybe you got to explore what you could get back. But now he's calm. Like last night, he played less than 13 minutes last night, but he was steady. Defended well, moving the puck north-south. It was really nice to see from
you. Almost don't notice him out there. And for a defenseman, that is a fantastic thing.
So what I love, we had Bruce Kurlock on Oilers Nation Every Day a week ago, and he pointed out this clip where like it's dumped in and Bouchard just like taps it, and then Broberg taps it to a forward, and it was literally like touch, out of the zone. And Bruce was just like, that's beautiful. That's poetry. And I was like, yeah, man, like and I've said this now a few times on a few shows, but like they're D-man who get you out of trouble. Those are your Vinny Desharnais, right? Brett Kulak's the guys who put a stick in, break up a cycle, and it kills a chance. Mm-hmm. Then there are the D-men who just flat out keep you out of trouble. They don't get in trouble because like Broberg, like Bouchard, bang, bang, they move the puck out. The other team dumps it in, doop, doop, couple taps, boom, back the other way. And I love that about his game.
I think he just sinks the game so highly. Like just little plays that he makes are very high quality plays and a lot harder to make than it kind of looks like. But you can just see he just reads the play so well. And he's a very smart player. And at this point, like why would the others want to move him? Like,
and
may as well keep him around. He's doing really well.
And when you got the boots to cover up some of the mistakes, even if there are one, like he's a quick skater as well.
He's
That's hugely valuable.
You mentioned a play he made. This was a few shows ago.
Seattle.
Yeah, where it was like a lot of times you would have looked at him and like off the glass and out, right? Mm-hmm. And he just kind of spun, rimmed it, and there was someone wide open on the other side, and it worked.
Ripped it all the way around the ice, and he knew the guy was there. And that's just a high level hockey play, to be honest. Like, don't see a lot of guys doing that, but yeah, like it's good to see he's kind of moved his way through the lineup. And honestly, credit to Ken Holland to kind of sticking on the path of him too, to be honest.
I was going to say that just to upset people. Shout out to Ken for not, overreacting 3 weeks ago.
Don't you dare praise Ken Holland for the good things that he does. Yeah, it's been interesting to see how over the course of 2 weeks, we've talked about team defense nonstop on this podcast, but they kind of just started to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Little defense is going to get them moving up the other way.
Well, this is just it. We kept saying we need to bring somebody. We didn't need to it's going to help to bring somebody in, but this team needs to figure out themselves before you go and make that trade, right? So if Ken Holland made the trade 3 weeks ago, month ago, whatever, we're not necessarily playing where we are right now, right? You're just bringing a guy into a broken system. Who knows where we are? They had to fix it from themselves, which they have at least for the last 5 games. And I do believe this will go, they'll continue for the rest of the season. But they needed to figure it themselves. And now you can go and add to this team.
Yeah, because on top of that too, you bring in a player to something that isn't working. That player isn't going to transition into the lineup.
No, it wasn't like we were getting outskilled or something like that.
System.
Yeah, we weren't getting outskilled or anything like that. We were shooting ourselves in the foot. We were not playing properly. Mm-hmm. Now that they do, now you can start bringing guys in and really take this team to the next level.
Definitely.
Another thing that happened obviously this week was the return of Evander Kane about 6-7 weeks ahead of schedule. I know when we had him in for the real life interview a couple of weeks back, he's like, I'm a quick healer. I'm going to be back sooner than expected. And we're like, okay, yeah, like end of the month was kind of the target at that point, but I did not expect him to be back in against Seattle, nor did I expect him to rattle off 7 shots that night either.
I think, you know what, when he came back, he's the type of guy that when he comes back, he's doing what he does.
Removes all doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I had people in my DMs when it happened saying, I don't know, that guy in Toronto came back a lot sooner than he was supposed to, and Evander's stronger than him. And I just I heard that and I listened, but it's like, I don't know, like you still want to listen to the doctors.
It's hard to believe that when you see something that's so gruesome and graphic, exactly right? When you see an injury like that, it's just, it sits in you so long and you're like, man, there's like, no, don't like take your time, dude. Like,
but the nice thing is for a guy like Evander is that it only limited his mobility for an arm, right? He was able to keep his conditioning up. He was able to still work out, all those good things. So it wasn't like he was skipping so much of a beat that when he hit the ice again, it wasn't missing.
And props to him for wearing the proper protection now.
Yes.
I would certainly hope. You see it all the time,
You see it all the time. Like
someone does something to themselves and like, oh, you could just put this on instead. Nah. You
or
wear
somebody
those plastic
else
things on the feet and you like break your foot.
Or something happens to somebody else. Like I think about, this wasn't an Oilers thing, but like you see a guy who's like Achilles gets stepped on and you go, well, Kevlar socks are a real thing. You could wear them right now.
Well, and like I was laughing when he did it yesterday because it was kind of like an OJ put the glove doesn't fit kind of thing. But when John Shannon put it on there, like that really illustrates to you how little of an effect that would have. Like that, I don't know. Obviously we can't feel the material, but it doesn't look that heavy. It doesn't look that dense. And it was just a little thing on his wrist. And all of a sudden he's protected from getting sliced wide open. Like it's just crazy to me.
And you can use it to beat people.
One thing that if you're going to bring, you just transitioned to me nicely into last night's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, because when he got rocked from behind right in the numbers by Kucherov, who apparently had immunity from all penalties last night, all I could think about was, you're lucky you hit Kane in the numbers right now and not like 2 months from now, because he would have dummied you. He would have grabbed you and shook you until somebody stepped in.
Well, and Bob said during the intermission there that he literally has like a timeline that he's not allowed to punch people. So it's a good time for Kucherov to get it in there.
I don't know about that play, man. Like they went to review it, and at the game I thought they were reviewing the
hit from behind.
Me too. I was, and then I'm watching on my phone. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a major. I was like, that's definitely 5 in a game for Kucherov. He's done.
Did you actually think that?
That was a really dirty hit.
That was a real bad
I don't know. Everybody's message is, it starts with, if he was 6 inches closer to the boards, which is true. If he was, that would have been a disaster, but he wasn't.
That's my thing too.
And so my thing is, that is a play where that's why we have fighting in the game. That's why we have hits in the game, because you go out and you respond against Kucherov that way. It's not up to the
Kucherov
referees.
Stared at his numbers for like 3 strides.
But it's not up to the referees because he didn't hurt him. He just scared him.
I don't care if he hurts him or not. That's a major.
The league needs to take this a little more seriously, because someone's going to end up breaking their back.
And that's the thing.
And that's fine. That's a supplemental discipline thing though.
And that's fine. That's what I'm thinking.
And that's where I'm saying that I didn't think that the referees were reviewing it at all. I honestly thought they were making it up just to get a timeout, just to get everybody to calm the hell down. But that was,
I just thought like I didn't know about 5 in a game, but I thought for sure a penalty, because if Evander Kane's say 30 pounds heavier, he's flying into or lighter, I should say, he's flying into the boards.
Yep.
So they did not review the hit from behind?
No, they were just looking.
They reviewed it because they thought it was kicking from Kane.
Yeah.
When really he's trying to get up and he kind of tripped Kucherov.
I couldn't believe. So they're okay. We're gonna review it. I was like, good, let's go watch it. I was like, okay, probably not 5. Whatever, we'll get our 2. I'm cool. And I sit down, and they so it's not 5. It's 2 for tripping for 91 white or blue. I didn't know what to say. I did say things, but
that's like I tweeted too. It's just like, after all of that, how is it Kane that ended up in the box?
I didn't even know you could like downgrade it to a minor penalty.
I think
it was just like you checked the review if it was a 5, and it was like a yes or no.
No, you can definitely go down. Yeah, you go from 5. I think you can go down to 4 and 2. So I knew,
it was just like the high sticking thing.
Yeah. I honestly thought initially that it was supposed to be only if you've made the call are you able to then review it to check to see if it was wrong.
That's what I thought.
It appears, at least to me, that if they had thought that Kucherov hit was major worthy, they could have gone back and reviewed it just like they did with the kick, because they thought that the kick was major worthy. So they reviewed it to see.
But then what makes me mad is, Casey, you're going to look at a kick / slew foot kind of, because they did call him for tripping. Why didn't you look at the Maroon slew foot on McDavid?
Yes.
My thing with the Kucherov, sorry, just before we go to the McDavid Maroon thing, my thing with the Kucherov thing is, if you just note that and do what's called, I think it's been referred to as game management before on microphones.
Familiar.
If you just say, okay, we're not going to get Evander here, we'll get him next time, and leave it, the fireworks don't happen.
Yeah.
Because the Edmonton Oilers aren't on a penalty kill. But I tweeted it out the minute that happened. The referees told the players, you got to figure this out on your own. And they sure as shit did.
Yeah. I think if it was close to the boards, it would have been a 5.
Yeah.
But also, if I guess thinking about it now, if they initially thought it was a 5-minute major and that's what they were checking, then they probably would have called Kucherov for a check from behind on the ice. But yeah, like the slew footing thing, it was even later on in the game when Maroon slew footed Derek Ryan, they just called him for tripping.
So dirty.
It's like, no, that's a 4-minute penalty.
And then they don't fine him or anything. Like
No.
PK Subban got fined and suspended for this shit last year.
He's
Yeah.
twice his size.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's greasy. They did it 3 times. Like the one Kucherov did on whoever that was, I can somewhat forgive the ref that was like right in front of him because it was kind of behind him. And like maybe the other ref just didn't see it. So like whatever. But like you literally called a tripping penalty, saw blatantly what happened, and you still messed it up.
Yeah.
Like, it was wild last night.
But the Edmonton Oilers have to also take away from this that this is what the champions are able to do to us. Right. And this is what the champions are able to do in a hockey game. And we need to start doing this kind of stuff too. When we're out of a game, when we're out of it and we're down, you got to get in there and muck it up sometimes. Cause that's exactly what Patrick Maroon was doing. That team was down 2-0 and he started to piss off people. Yeah, exactly. Jesse Puljujarvi takes a late run at a guy, gets beat up for it, but it just changes your kind of perspective of that game. Mm-hmm. Instead of just being a shit kicking, it's a shit kicking, but you also got shit kicked on the actual.
And to your point,
sheet.
Dan, your exact point. That's why I love a good scrap. We've been talking about it for ages. That is the reason why I didn't want Darnell Nurse to take that one right at the end of the first, because Corey Perry didn't want to fight Darnell Nurse. He wanted him off the ice. He didn't. I don't even think he swung.
Yeah.
No, he held on for dear. Like
he held on.
He locked those elbows, kept him away as far as possible. And just like they did a couple circles and you can see it's just like, man, this guy needs to end right now. I mean, good on him. Like I get a lot of people don't like the fact Nurse fought. I'm down with it. No problem. But yeah, good on Corey. I've always liked Corey Perry. I hate him, but I'd take him on my team.
Yeah. Like, and I get it too. I get 100%. I would love to have a guy like that on our team. To me, it's just like, sure, you take the opportunity to punch Corey Perry in the face. I get that. Like, what the fuck? But it was just like, Daryl, you don't need to do it then.
And Daryl specifically has to be the one to recognize that, like, he's just the guy that everybody's going to do that to now because Zach Cassian isn't here. Daryl is the guy that people think they can get off of his game and get him to punch him in the face. And that's exactly what Corey Perry showed he can do last night. I agree with you completely. I think that the Maroon Costin fight was all you needed probably in that situation. I don't mind the Perry Nurse thing just because it was such an outrageous mismatch that Nurse was never going to lose that and never going to have that hurt him.
I want to back up a little bit because the thing that kind of started the spiciness of the night was the Maroon slew foot on McDavid. But what we were talking about on Oilers Nation every day right before this was how funny it was that Patty goes to the penalty box within seconds. Bang, bang in the back of the net.
Oh, yeah.
You see Leon staring him down on the way to the bench. You see Connor filling his ear on the way to the bench. I loved it. When those two are fired up, how can the rest of the bench not be fired up?
Dude, I so want to know what's being said out there.
Oh, because like, again, you guys all watched it. Like that wasn't like I compared it to like little brother, big brother, like getting into a fight, like kind of thing. Like
sibling rivalry.
that was not.
No,
They did not. And Maroon pointing at Nurse as well as he was skating off the ice. I was just gonna say, like, what is this guy's problem?
Yeah,
like,
he was angry last
especially
night.
to do that to Connor McDavid when Connor McDavid saved your career.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Like, come on, Patty Maroon. I think he can be there's a line. I think he definitely crossed it in normal with a slew foot because I think that's a really dangerous and dirty
Especially
play.
on 97.
But to know it was 97, to do that to 97, and then give him another shot after, and it's like, Patty Maroon, you probably don't have 3 Stanley Cups. because you're probably out of the league if Connor McDavid doesn't let you score 27 backdoor tap-ins a couple of years ago. Like, let's be real here, man.
But
I know that's harsh, and I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek.
But he also wins 3 Stanley Cups because he's willing to do that to just about anybody in this league.
Yeah, that's what makes him what he is, and that's why he's been able to, again, after Edmonton, stick in the league after he turned down a 4x4 contract offer because he thought he was going to get more.
It's like I said.
So well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you traded a couple of mil for 3 rings.
Yeah.
The Lightning were down and out. Patty Maroon livened him up.
You can't discredit that half of it, and it's as annoying as it is for Oilers fans. The only response that we can have, Liam, and you pointed out with his or the slew foot continuing, is we now need to follow the Tampa Bay Lightning, and every time Maroon takes a tripping penalty, we need to clip it if it's a slew foot and start calling it out. Because the slew foot is there, and that's exactly why it is there. You're right, Tyler, is so that supplemental discipline can then come in and be like, yeah, you've had like 6 slew foots, Patty. You got to stop this shit. But no, it's trip. And that's a bad look for the league.
The thing I do love, though, is that the Lightning were trying to turn that game into their style of game, and the Oilers didn't back down even for a second. They were in the mix. There were scrums. The boys were fired up. We're all in the pile.
When they play their best, they're one of the best teams in the league.
The Oilers or Tampa Bay?
Edmonton.
Maybe both.
Both.
Oh, yeah, fair.
I have a question.
Please, Liam.
Is Klim Kostin now a heavyweight fighter in the NHL?
No.
Go through his roster. It's interesting.
Patrick Maroon, Brendan Lemieux, Zach Kassian, and then I think he actually had one more before that. But was Kassian the first one?
Right at me, and I don't know.
I don't remember. We can look it up.
I know
we have the technology.
He's had quite a few AHL fights.
It's interesting. I mean, how can he not be? Because all 3 of those guys, I would say, are heavyweight.
I think like as you would know, Dan, though, like the days of the heavyweight is kind of done.
I would say that the class that you're looking for is gone. It's
like there's Ryan
Reeves and no one else.
Yeah, I suppose.
But the next one level down is where Nick Delorier lives, and he would be like I would call him like a volume fighter. He's a guy that will just take a fight anywhere, any day, anytime.
But he's a big dude too, doesn't he?
Yeah. I just don't look at him like as a heavyweight. Yeah. I don't think that he could go up against Georges Laraque or Derek Boogaard and survive. So I think that you would say that Klim Kostin is probably in the next tier down, which is like what, your middleweights. Like it's kind of, I wouldn't say he's a heavyweight, but he's a guy that's going to show up for pretty much any fight. Like he will, I will give him credit for that. I just don't necessarily see him as like a fighter per se that is going to go out and fight against Nick Delorier on any given night.
Yeah, the thing I love about him,
a lot of respect. Reeves either, though.
That too, yes.
The thing I love about him is that he'll just say yes.
Well, that's what he did last night.
Yeah, read that.
There was a quote. I don't have it. Oh, Gene tweeted it. Let me find it quickly.
So we're just going to vamp for a sec. But like Klim Kostin, since he's been called up, has shown a willingness to defend his teammates at the drop of a hat. Doesn't matter who it is. He's in the pile. And we have now with Kane back, especially when the old fight lift comes off on him, like we've got another guy in the roster who's willing to do it. And that's huge for a team like this.
So this is what Clem Shady said about Patrick Maroon in his fight last night. He said, he is a legend in St. Louis. We talked a little at the face-off. He asked me 3 times, are you sure you want to fight? He said, I said, yes, Pat, I'm sure. End quote.
So I've heard a couple people, Tyler, I think you were one of them that said that there might have been an element of jumping there. I just think that that's how Maroon operates. Like Maroon's just a guy that just gets into it. And I don't think Kostin maybe was expecting that so much as
after hearing that quote, I think I probably backed down off that a bit.
Yeah, which is fine. And and I've seen that. I saw that on social media last night. Maroon just strikes me. Maroon's not that good of a fighter, if we're being completely honest. And I like Patrick Maroon personally.
Big bear.
Him and I have had some really good conversations, but he's just not a good fighter. He's a huggy bear. He's a Zach Stortini. I love Zach Stortini too, but Zach Stortini would just hug guys.
Who doesn't love a cuddle?
Right?
Did you?
Big fella.
So just talking about things that irritated me last night, Patrick Maroon coming out for the second period, skated by that corner where the McDavid incident happened. And he was like, kind of mouthing words and gesturing to the fans that were sitting there. And then Kucherov comes out, and because their bench is on the side where Campbell is for the second period, and he stands in the circle, at the top of the circle, somewhere around there, and he just pretends to shoot twice at Jack Campbell. What sense does that make? How is that like, what?
How is that faking anybody out either? I don't
Hey, it's just gamesmanship. And I you know what?
I don't mind it from a little weenie like him though.
Just that's exactly it. Get the guys fired up from a guy that can't back it up at all.
They were definitely piss babies last night. I couldn't believe the Lightning, the complaining.
That starts with their head coach. Their head coach is one of the biggest, like he massages the game all the time. Like if that dude isn't staring like a gopher out of a hole, looking for a call somewhere every time they cut to him, I'm shocked. It's so frustrating. Even at the end of the game, the guy wouldn't leave the bench because Bouchard was shooting shots at us and we were blocking them. Like, I don't get it.
Play to the whistle.
Yep. Confusing. I didn't hear no bell. Keep firing, Bouch.
If they're going to stand in front of you, fucking bomb away at their feet. I promise they're not going to stand there next time.
Do they not have a goalie in the net that has all that equipment to protect him from it?
He looks like seeing Vasilevsky in person is staggering.
He's a huge man.
His jersey is stretched as far as it can stretch. I think he's the same height as Jack Campbell. And then you look at him.
Really?
I think so. And then you look
pictures though. They're
he
ridiculous.
Looks like twice the size.
Yes.
So Campbell is 6'3", 205. Okay.
yeah.
Or Campbell's 6'3", 207. Vasilevsky's 6'4", 220. So he's a bit bigger. But like his elbows, man, are like huge because of all that gear. It's hilarious. And you see Campbell, he comes in and he's just like a little guy.
Michelin man.
I know that they're so important, but goalies are truly the kickers of hockey. Like they're just like these scrawny guys, and then they get bulked up out on the ice, and they're all real big and strong, and then they get scrawny.
They look gigantic, and then they take their gear off, and they look all like Darren Pang.
I want to talk about soup for a bit because
delicious. Which type, minestrone or
nice gazpacho?
To start off the year, we had a little bit of gazpacho. We had cold soup.
Whoa, geez, eyes open up.
Tyler loves consuming his own content. I want to talk about soup for a little bit because all of a sudden, our boy's on a roll. And if we can have both Campbell and Skinner playing at the level they're at,
that's NHL All-Star Skinner, by the way.
We'll absolutely touch on that for a second. Like, what a great problem for the Oilers to have.
I am cruising with my hot take, my hot prediction, by the way, that Jack Campbell's going to start more games than Stuart Skinner for the rest of this year. Not bad.
I think it'll probably be pretty close to even by the time she's all said.
I would think so too, but this stretch from Jack has just been unreal. And it's one of those things, I don't know if you guys are the same way, but the last few games, when I see Jack is starting, I kind of go, oh, like I wasn't expecting it, but it's a pleasant surprise. It's not
here.
6 straight wins, 6 starts. His last 6 starts, 6 wins, all over 900 save percentage. He's starting to come back a little bit.
Yes, but the team is playing better in front of them. There's 100%. No grade A.
But they go hand in hand, though. Really,
1,000%. They're not giving up those terrible opportunities in front of him. He's, they're keeping things to the outside, and when it does get to the inside, he's making those saves.
Because last night, maybe the Stamkos goal, maybe, but like that's a guy from his sweet spot hammering the pill that he scored. He scored from there 500 times. It seems like there was nothing else that I went last night when I see the goal go in. I went, damn it. There's just bang, bang play. Like the point goal. Like you can't do anything on that.
Yeah. The Hagel one was bad defense, not on Campbell at all. The Stamkos one is Stamkos from his office. He whiffed on it a little bit, but it's hard to say a goalie.
You know what? Boys strike out on the change up sometimes.
Yep. 100%. On the topic of the goaltending. So last episode we did our guesses for Jesse Puljujarvi's return, what his trade will be.
Are we trading Campbell?
No. Although our boy Original Puzar did inform me that you cannot do conditions based on guys resigning anymore, apparently. So that kind of pooched us. But I want to ask you guys right now, in this moment, Game 1, Round 1, Stanley Cup playoffs. Who do you think will be the starting goalie for the Oilers?
Who are we playing against?
I don't know.
If it was this moment, you can't go to anybody but Jack Campbell.
Well, then just take a stab at it. Who do you think? Who do you think will be?
Skinner.
I would think you have to start with Jack Campbell just because of his last 6 games. He's been the guy to take you here to this moment. So we're starting the playoffs tomorrow. I'm going to Jack.
Based on the situation, everything, I think you take the hot hand, and he's obviously played in the last bit. Skinner hasn't, for obvious reasons. If it starts tomorrow, it's soup.
But it's not starting tomorrow. It's starting in a few months.
And so if you look at that, then I'm going to go back and use the same thing going, who's the hot hander at that point?
And who do you think it'll be? I want to write down guesses.
Tyler wants his answer.
Like tomorrow against Vancouver, it's got to be Skinner, right? You got to get Skinner back in there.
I think Jack starts Game 1.
Stuart Skinner.
BM?
again, like I think that we're at a point in the season where Woodcroft's going to ride the hot hand. So I can't give you an answer for what's going to happen 35 games in the future.
It's
But
funny,
like,
the
if it's today,
$5 million starter,
if it's today, it's Campbell.
or the All-Star. I mean, that's an
I'm going to say it ends
issue.
up being Skinner. I think Campbell will play really well, but we've seen he's hot and cold. I think Skinner has that element of consistency, and they're going to value that.
Skinner's got you to this point.
Yep.
100%. And I'm not going to, like, I wouldn't be bummed out by that by any means.
Well,
either.
I
So,
wrote
like,
down your answer as Campbell, so
that's a nice problem for the Oilers to have right now. If these two can keep battling for ice time, again, the competition between the two of them, that's also great.
competition in sports like this is great.
Yes.
The entire roster is competition right now.
Yes.
Well, that's what I mean. I was going to say, like, you saw Fogle when he came back, and he even said afterwards that it was a couple games off that they were good for him. You know, so if you're going to do that, and you're going to get sat when you get a chance out there.
this is.
I
Sorry,
was just going to say, Fogel's playing at 1,000,000 miles per hour right now.
He's
we have to
trying
be.
so damn hard.
Yeah, good. That's
His
what we
goal
just
per
need
60
from
on the
him.
breakaway needs a little help though.
Yeah. But last game he had like 4 chances until he
Yeah.
scored from his ass.
Yeah,
That was a great goal too. That was a
It was a really
great,
good goal.
great second effort. And I was actually looking at the
great
replay of that.
celebration.
Oh, love the Selly too. But the fact that he was able to get that much lift on the puck from his ass was impressive. It really was.
Who scored yesterday?
McDavid,
McDavid,
Draisaitl,
McLeod, Draisaitl.
and Hyman.
And who got the 5th? We scored 5.
Hyman.
I haven't got 2?
Empty
Oh, yeah,
netter.
I did. I was just thinking of the depth scoring, but McLeod got 1.
Hey, did you get your PP empty net goal last night?
Always. It hits every game.
Shout out to our friends at
Asterisk.
Betway. Shout out to our friends at Betway. It hits every time until it doesn't hit every time.
60% of the time, it hits every time.
It's Paul.
My over 1.5 power play goals has gone cold recently.
They didn't hit it yesterday, hey?
No.
Stunning.
That
means the PK had another perfect game, though.
1 for 4 in the power play. PK killed off both shorthanded situation they faced.
So I think
really
that
nice
means
special teams night for the
I
Oilers.
think that
5
means
on
now
5
they're
is
like
better.
14 for their last 15 on the PK or something like that. It's close.
And
Since that blunder against LA, essentially.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then it's really good if you take that out, because they were hot before that
Before
too.
It was good. It just, so when it falls apart,
It can be bad.
collapses.
and what I like most about it is, like Rick just said, the 5-on-5 scoring is there right now.
When this team scores 5-on-5, you know what they can do on the power play. They're terrifying.
And you know what, too? You look at the 5-on-5 goals, the ones I have in my head right now, outside of the big guns, the McLeod one yesterday, literally a puck to the net and guys got in the way and it hit somebody. Before that, the Derek Ryan one was shot to the net, guys crashed the net, and it was right there for him to tap in. With the McLeod's other one was he went to the net.
The Holloway
after
off the
hit
post.
Like,
Yeah.
there's such simple goals to score. And the Fogle one too. Like, I know he scored from his ass, but they crashed the net and he got it there. They're all in like that little area.
You
That's
get
what those guys are
greasy.
gonna score.
You get greasy goals are just as pretty on the score sheet.
We do not, they all count the same if McDavid's taking on 5 guys and then everybody else on the Tampa bench, or McLeod's crashing the net. I don't care. Just put the puck in the net.
Tampa's been angry at us ever since the Omark shootout.
Yeah, that is true. You know,
It's
get
John
over
Cooper.
it. Build a bridge.
Cooper the groundhog.
I love it. I love it. I want you, if you're listening to this right now, hit us up. ON Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. I just want to know your answer to Tyler's question. Playoffs start tomorrow. You start in soup or stew? We got to talk about our boy Stu because he was named to the NHL All-Star game yesterday. No surprise Leon got in there, but to see Stu get in there, man, if you had told me before the season started that Skinner would be going to the All-Star game, I wouldn't have believed you. You sure shit know Ken Holland wouldn't have believed you. What do you guys think about Stu's season so far, Dan?
Well, I just want to put out the little disclaimer that is wonderful season by Stuart Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
The Pacific Division goaltenders have done a really good job of making Stuart Skinner appear that much better than he even is. I think that if Thatcher Demko was in the mix, he would have been the Canucks pick, and then we probably might not have been having the same conversation.
But
Wonderful.
he's not.
I don't
But
think so,
wonderful
though.
for him to be there.
Skinner's
I
numbers
was
are
just
good.
going to say, only not solely off like Demko is clearly better than Skinner. Like that is
Yes.
what it is. But
That's
the
fair.
Oilers fans come out.
That's
and
fair.
They
And
vote
that's-
their boys in.
And that's what I was going to kind of get
Yeah.
to, is just that like our fans do show up, and the fact that there's 2 Edmonton Oilers in this game is no shock to me. Out of the 3 votes, Edmonton got 2 picks. So It's great to see. I love to see it from Stewart, and it's going to be so much fun for him. And like, you've got people predicting he's going to be the all-star MVP and stuff because it matters more to him than most because it's such a cool thing.
To that exact point, Leon, they were just like, Leon, the all-star game, what do you think? He's like, yeah. Stuart Skinner, though, he's going to his first, and I'm super excited for him.
Right. So the McDavid and Draisaitl will be trying a little bit harder for Stu and all those kinds of things. It'll just be a lot of fun for those guys.
Should have 5 though.
Yeah, the disrespect for Nugent Hopkins, it just really hurts me at the core.
Well, they got to bring back the all-star roster. Like, you got to have a roster of players.
And I bring back the draft.
Yes.
I would like the draft too.
I loved the draft.
Scrap the fan vote.
Yeah.
Fans vote on the next pick in the draft. Every few picks, the fans vote, live vote on Twitter or whatever for who gets picked next on that team. That would be way better than the fan vote to get these guys.
I will say I would be a big fan of them doing the 3-on-3 style with the fantasy draft element.
Yes.
That'd be sick.
That'd be so much fun. And also just, it was way more fun to watch that.
Yeah.
It made it a full weekend.
Yeah.
Because they would do the draft, then the skills and the game. Like it actually mattered. I know everyone says it's like, it's for the kids, but like the draft was awesome. That was so fun.
Watching Phil Kessel just sit there. It was hilarious. The next year, Ovi's campaigning to sit there. Like, I think that's hilarious. It just adds a little personality, a little showmanship to a sport that kind of needs it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, shout out to Stu. I never would have expected him to be at the All-Star game, but hell of a season.
Where does he finish in the Calder Trophy standings?
1.
I like it.
I'll vote for him.
I'll say 3.
So he gets the go.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
So what other? I don't even like. To be fair, I just haven't been paying attention to rookies at all. Who else is in the mix?
Beniers, Logan Thompson, and Skinner are kind of the leading 3 right now.
Is Caulfield a rookie still?
No.
He's been in the league
Oh,
like
right.
3
He
years.
played last year, yeah. Whoops.
He just looks like a rookie because he's tiny.
There's Mason McTavish in Anaheim, Matias Maccelli in Arizona.
Don't forget Shane Wright. Still a chance.
Owen Power's not really done tons.
No, nothing rookie of the year wise.
I think when you look at it, like, I mean, all 3 of those players have done so much for the team. Like, Beniers is basically driving that Seattle offense, or was for chunks of the season. Logan Thompson is essentially the reason Vegas are where they are in a big way. Like, no one expected this, but also no one expected this from Skinner either. We'll see.
Do you anticipate all 3 players can continue their successful career, their successful season so far, though? I don't see much change in Skinner. I do believe Vegas drops a bit.
They already are.
And I'm curious to see what happens with Beniers in Seattle.
I think Beniers will be probably the most consistent out of the 3 because he's just an offensive player and it's easier to keep that mojo, obviously. Logan Thompson, I think, is kind of getting screwed a little bit by Vegas's injuries, which aren't helping him by any means. Like Shea Theodore didn't play, obviously, when we were down there.
He was
Mark
scared.
Stone, who knows? Yeah, I heard he was scared.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stu's the best. So yeah,
and Skinner's.
Then here, but at the same point, Stu didn't have Kane in front of him for 31 games. There's been injuries.
Stuart
also
Skinner be the Edmonton Oilers' first Calder Trophy winner?
The problem for Stuart Skinner is that Jack Campbell is still here. He's still the backup until
unless he went on like just an absolute heater.
That's true. Yeah, or Campbell falls apart again.
What's the amount of games do you think he has to play?
What's he at right now? I think he's at like 23 right now.
I think
something like that.
I think that's when you start talking about Bernier's being just the de facto winner because
Just
because the NHL loves games played for these kinds of things.
26. So these are his stats: 26 games, 25 started, 12 wins, 10 losses, 2.96 GAA, and 914 goals against.
Yeah, so it might be
He's
high.
not been a star of the game once a season.
Skinner?
Apparently not.
That
That's what this says anyway. Maybe they just don't update it. Oh yeah, because nobody has been a star of the game. Scratch that.
Another great moment from Leo on this
You
podcast.
stinker.
What website is that though?
I can't read it online.
Got it.
Mm.
Fine. Thought it
Fake
was the
website.
Oilers official website. And I was like, wow.
That is a fake website.
Yeah, I just made that up.
Yep. No, you didn't make up, Liam. The fun deals from our friends at Tourism Jasper. It is time. Jasper in January 13th to 29th, celebrate the lighter side of winter. Lots of exciting events, including street party with live bands, whiskey, wine, and hops. Come on. The ultimate après après-ski. Who doesn't love an après-ski? Special culinary offerings and much, much more. And of course, towards the end of the month, the 2023 Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament is going to be happening at the beautiful Jasper Park Lodge. You can get more details. Join Tyler, Kennedy, and I down there. Visit chehockey.com for more information and to register your team. I think this is almost sold out. And I promise you that this is a good time. And Tyler, before we cut to a break, did you see the clip of the On the Bench boys taking shots at you for the Pond Hockey Tournament on Barn Burner?
Yeah, wasn't super nice of them, obviously. I can give everyone a quick listen here. On
your YouTube, because we're going up to Jasper. It's our first time.
Pond Hockey. Jasper.
And you guys, it was last year, right?
Yeah.
You've done this before.
Yeah, we did some scouting.
What can you tell us about last year's event, your experience, and maybe what we should be ready for?
I mean, you guys know them as Oilers Nation, but we call them Trash Nation, where we're
We
from.
actually call them that too. That's right.
So they were out there and they were hyping up a big game that Yamachukaluk or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Super unmemorable person. And
guy's got the worst knees I've ever seen. Super bendy.
There you go. So the shots have been fired.
Hold on.
You got out of the
Trash Nation? Is that all they could come up with? That's how they started that.
Well, they have a lot of time in their hands when they're out of the playoffs like this. So.
Oh my goodness.
So those On the Bench guys, they'll be there. Flames Nation talked a lot of shit. We play them on the Saturday of this tournament down in Jasper. It's going to be unbelievable.
Have you guys learned anything from the last couple of games that we've watched, with the physicality, just needing a couple
Yeah,
of
we're gonna-
fist
I'm
bumps?
going to keep my elbows up.
Please do. Please
If
do.
someone tries to come after me, bag milk will be my Klim Kostin.
That's right.
Are you guys getting Trash Nation jerseys made though?
The first punch will be a drop kick. We will be playing Team La Bamba jerseys again.
Yeah, Team Play La Bamba.
Play La Bamba.
Nice.
And the Flames Nation team will be in garbage bags.
It's what they deserve.
Yeah.
It's what they deserve. Again, if you want to join us, chehockey.com for more information and to register your team. All right, I want to get to Ask the Idiots for our friends at Tourism Jasper. Did you have something that you wanted to say real quick, Liam? There was a big sigh, a gulp of air went in there.
I had a little, just to finish up on the Calder Trophy thing. So Steve Mason was the last goalie to win the Calder Trophy.
Correct.
He played 61 games that season for Columbus. In 2009, had a 916 save percentage and a 2.29 goals against.
And then what happened?
And then he never
Played again.
Yep, nothing. Career basically ended. Oh, he came
Europe.
back in 2015
Europe.
and had a 928. That was it.
Same with Jim Carrey. I remember him winning the Vezina and then disappearing just as quickly as he arrived.
Jim
And
Then he
Carrey,
did
the
the
Andrew
Truman
Raycroft too.
He did the Truman Show after that. That
Nut
was really
Detective.
good. Yeah, and then he was the Grinch.
Yes, man.
Yep. Amazing
Tyler's missing
shift to
something.
career.
What are we looking for?
a MacBook charger in your office?
Yeah.
Can I go grab it?
Yes, you may.
This is
we'll lose the whole pod.
Okay, Tyler's going to get my MacBook charger.
How does this happen so often?
It is amazing. You would think that a guy that does 9 podcasts a day would have his laptop charged or plugged in at the very least, but no. Can you see what the battery's at over there, Rick?
and the
I'll be
episode's
honest.
over.
Whenever I do a show,
Oh, it's low.
I always have my laptop plugged in.
Yep.
For this exact reason.
We're getting low battery fucking.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That
10,
means we're less than 10%.
9, 8,
7.
Oh, even the struggle to get it into the
Hey, there it is.
USB
We're
port.
safe.
What was it at?
Our episode almost disappeared.
We almost had to start all over again.
9%.
Oh, plenty of juice.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Could have just kept going.
Oh, yeah. No
Unplug
problem.
it.
It's like,
Let's live life on the wild side. Unplug that
everybody
thing.
hold hands.
it's like Kramer in the car.
Hold my hand.
Oh, you got to find out how much gas you got.
And then by the end, the car dealership guy's like in on it. Oh, it's so good.
All right.
Let's
Ask
go
the
for
Idiots
one more.
for our friends at Tourism Jasper.
Here we go.
Liam, I'm going to start with you because you're to my right. I was going to read this correctly. Okay. Since cap space has a value, am I wrong for thinking that having Yessa or Fogle on waivers isn't such a bad idea? Free up space if a team claims them. Sure, it's poor asset management, but if Holland was to trade them, wouldn't he have to add in a sweetener for somebody to take that salary anyway?
Well, if you had asked me last week, Warren Fogle would have been not on the plane back from Vegas. So, yeah, I guess putting them on waivers isn't such a bad idea. I do think Puljujarvi can get you something back Even if it is like a 5th round pick, then I think that's fine. But yeah, I guess to answer the question, no, it's not such a bad idea to put one of them on. I do think yes, he would get claimed. I don't think Fogle would.
Tyler?
Hey, he's playing good though. Waivers, yeah, you're right. I think actually,
I guess my head's still in last week.
yeah, but I know I
now
do
he
think
would
you're
get
right. I
claimed.
shouldn't overreact because other teams won't overreact to like a couple of good games. And that second year on the contract is probably what's going to hurt his value the most. Like he's a useful player. He's fine when he's hot like he is right now. So no, I don't think you do put them on waivers. I think what we'll see when Yamo's healthy after the break is a trade.
Yeah, because we've got over at dailyfaceoff.com, Frank Saravalli kind of did it was a quick little segment on Daily Faceoff Live about the Oilers cap situation. They basically just kicked the can down the road till February 12th when Yamo comes off the LTIR, if he comes off the LTIR.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we know anything about this injury yet?
So, well, according to Frank, it's an array of things, which isn't great.
And they're looking to give him just a bit of a reset is the word Frank used.
So we have some time here, but if I'm to give my answer next, I don't think waivers is the move here. I think there is a return to be had there. Rick?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you put him on waivers, especially Pugliarvi, because you can't go down to, you can't drop 2 right wingers right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nation Dan.
Yeah, it's the question asker put it right in their own question when they said that it's poor asset management. And I just don't think that at this point, this team is able to I don't think that anybody's going to ship them off for free anyways. I think it would
Tyler
just be
again, loving his content.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. It would just be the way to, I don't know, just to signal to the rest of the league that these guys are up for sale, which they already know.
Yeah. Everyone knows what's available in Edmonton.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they know what we need usually.
Yeah. So like, again, that goes, other teams are going to give you a life raft. They're going to throw you a fucking anchor. Just remember that.
We're not in that position right now anymore. So,
And I think one other thing too to consider, like you just said, Rick, we're not in that position right now. There's got to be another team in the league. I don't know. That's
They're always
struggling right now. Like we got to do something. Maybe that's when you capitalize and you're able to.
I mean, we don't want to touch them, but there's a team probably 3 hours south of here that's this is probably looking at making
from Hella.
Yeah.
You want to gently use Milan Lucic?
Someone was talking to
Top 6?
the other day. They're like, man, what if he ends up back in Boston for their playoff run?
Oh,
It would be
it
cool.
would be a spirited affair for them. That's for sure.
That.
They would.
The emotional
Again, Pugliarvi.
factor would be unbelievable.
There was a lot of tweets
How
about
many guys on the team right now were there when he was there before?
Bergeron, Krejci,
Bergeron.
Doesn't matter. The
Marchand.
fans. The fans.
The fans would love it.
Yeah, the fans would go crazy.
Question 2 for our friends at Tourism Jasper. This one's actually applicable to the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament from Andrew. So from the Oilers Nation team, it's going to be me, Tyler, Jay down there, Adam Seaborn.
It's Jay Downton, not Jay down there.
It's true.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Adam will be playing on our team as well. You guys don't know him, and Frank Saravalli. So now you know our
You also don't know him.
Nobody
Yep.
knows.
Sorry.
You know who he is. Dan, who of that crew, when Oilers Nation plays Flames Nation, is the most likely to set the tone with a hit or a glove wash to the face?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking it's Frank Saravalli because the guy just is going to be rolling around that ice like he owns the place. So I'm going to say it's Frank Saravalli. He's going to lay that body and it's going to hurt.
He's from Philly. He's bringing that heat. Rick?
The big guy to my left. From what I understand, he has a bit of a reputation when it comes to the beer league. I feel like this might be a little more. That team's going to put him in, their focus on.
They are
him
provoking him. They are provoking him.
I know.
This is getting personal.
I'm skipping Tyler. Liam, you're up next.
Who would do it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to set the tone?
I wish it was me, but I can't skate. So that'll do it. I'm going to say Jay.
Yeah, Jay gets competitive.
I'd like to see that.
does get
Jay,
competitive.
the big boss, laying down the law. Don't
Yep.
mess with us.
And like, what
Sheriff.
are they going to get mad at Jay?
yeah,
They
what are they
can't.
going to do? Fire him?
What are they going to do? Resign?
It is interesting about that
See
too,
that on
because
Twitter right away.
I also get really competitive at these kinds of things, even though there's no reason to be. But my pick on our team, I'm agreeing with Rick. It's Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler, the I can see you going 0 to 100 a little bit. Like if Princey's in your grill, I could absolutely see you giving him one to the skate laces.
No, what'll happen is I'll be the guy who goes for a stick lift and misses and clips someone up top.
Yeah.
And I'll just feel like shit the rest of the weekend. Like,
They're leaking in the
everywhere.
corner.
yeah, like they'll be bleeding. I'll be like, fuck.
That
God.
sheet is now the pink in the rink.
Or like
sheet.
I'll try to like seam a pass across really hard and I'll get too much air on it and like hit someone. And I'll do something dumb, but I think because it's a work thing, I'll keep it on the rails pretty well.
But I don't know. Yeah, I see them poking at you though.
Yeah,
Coombsy set us up pretty well the first tournament with his own goal.
Yep.
That he scored.
Yep.
On
Cam was a sniper the first time we did one of these, and one of those unfortunately was in his own net.
Picked the corner of his own.
Who's on the Flames team?
Bunch of garbage people, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Garbage Nation. We're Trash Nation. They're Garbage Nation. There we
Princey, Boomer, Pinder.
Rhett Warner is not there, so they don't have a ringer.
They were talking about like bringing in some former NHLers, and I don't think any of it materialized. They have the guy who was on their Christmas show.
I don't. The goalie.
Yeah, the goalie.
But if they're former Flames, then you don't have to really worry about it.
Former Lames.
Leland Irving.
They're never former lames. They're always lames.
Yeah,
perfect.
I've never heard of any of those guys. So
no,
but they're bringing a ringer, and the ringer is a goalie in a pond hockey tournament. Is
Rhett Warner
just
scared?
So we're clear.
Rhett Warner.
He's scared?
Yeah, he might be scared.
Yeah, he might be scared.
Yeah,
he's not allowed to come up here.
Rhett Warner fears bagged milk.
It's fair.
That's your headline, folks.
Dan, I'm starting with you on this next one.
Garbage Nation.
Would you rather see a goalie fight or a goalie goal?
I always want to see a goalie fight. The last goalie fight that we had, 3 million page views that night to hockeyfights.com.
Is that Smith?
Sorry, 300,000. That was Smith and Talbot. Yeah, 300,000 page views in one night, and it broke the website.
Rick, you'd rather see a goalie fight or a goalie goal?
I love a good goalie goal, but you can't beat the goalie fights.
Yeah, I'm jumping into goalie fights are amazing. They used to happen more often in the 90s than they do now. But like
and Felix Potvin.
That was a classic one.
Detroit and Colorado.
There's something so horribly awkward and beautiful at the same time about two people in just massive amounts of clothing and equipment trying to flail at each other and hit each other.
And even just going back to the Mike Smith one against Cam Talbot, my favorite part of that fight was Darnell Nurse standing near the crease being like, get out there. Yeah. He's coming for you. Tyler, goalie fight or goalie goal?
Goalie goal. The anticipation of that puck floating through the air and then that like 2 seconds of it hits the ice. Is it gone? It's in. It'd be great. And then would we get Stuart Skinner or Jack Campbell doing the flyby by the bench? It'd be very cool. Goalie goal.
Liam.
Goalie fight. The anticipation of two men punching each other in the face is way better.
Of course. Is he still Oilers property? Ilya Konovalov, he just scored a goalie goal this past week.
I was going to say, Tyler, you have to name 4 goalie goals. Go.
Mike Smith has one.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike Smith has one. And then there was the time Mike Smith scored on himself in Arizona when the puck went into his pants. That doesn't really count, though.
That doesn't count.
Pekka Rinne scored a couple years ago.
I was going to say Rinne's an easy one.
Chris Osgood's got one.
We need a 4th one.
Marty Brodeur.
I don't think you like them that much, Tyler, because you can't even name 4 of them. I can name some goalie fights. You want me to go? Let's go.
Ron Hextall's got like 2 or 3.
Yeah. I do remember the Rinne one. I do remember the Smith one.
It's been even longer for a goalie goal.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. But hey, props to them because they keep shooting.
They do. They keep trying.
There was a close one the other day.
Mike Smith tried for one when you watch the final seconds of the Oilers series against LA. The last play of that series is Mike Smith firing one down the ice going for the goal.
I love that.
Maniac.
Last question for Tourism Jasper and Ask the Idiots. Liam, I'm starting with you, and damn it, I love this question. Who was your pick for the answer?
Clem Shady.
Why?
I announced this before, like in his second NHL game. Mm-hmm. He's the best. What is not to love about this man? He hits, he scores, and he punches our enemies in the face.
Dan, who is the answer?
I'm gonna say it. I would go with Clem Shady. If not, you having already chosen him, I'm gonna say it's rapidly becoming Philip Broberg.
I like both these picks so far. Rick, who is the answer?
It's the big fella. You need someone to break up
Frank
cycles.
Saravalli.
You need someone to get in front of the net. You need a guy to move the puck. He's got apples. He's keeping guys out of the front of the net. That's Vinny Desharnais right now.
Tyler Yaremchuk, who is your pick for the answer?
I just don't know how you can't say it's him. It's him and it's Clem. Or Clem, I suppose, because that's how you properly say his name. It's Clem Costa, man. He's scoring. He's sticking up for his teammates. He's laying the body, forechecking hard. I love every second of this guy being out there and wearing an Oilers jersey. Clem Shady, the answer.
I tweeted about it on December 31st. Clem Costin could be the answer. Mm-hmm. And damn it, is he ever. So it's boring. I'd want to pick Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but that's not the point of the answer. It's got to be lower in the lineup. It's got to be a guy you don't expect. Those are the rules. So Clem Costin also gets my pick. I want to know from you, who is the answer? And get your Allen Iverson garbage out of here. We don't care about that around here.
Do we have the answer history? Like, who's been the answer? Ty Ratty kicked it off, right?
Nope.
Al Montoya.
Al Montoya is actually the very first the answer. That that one was a little bit in jest.
That's a lesser known fact, but that's how it started. Was Coom yelling out in the middle of our Christmas party that year that Al Montoya is the answer?
Oh.
Yes.
So what have we got? Al Montoya to Ty Ratty.
It went to Alex Chiasson.
Yeah. Ooh. So didn't Sam Gagne get a shout for a little bit?
Yeah, when he came back, but the production wasn't there. Then we were hoping for Ty Ratty.
Yep.
I don't know. We should probably
Maroon actually was the answer for a bit, right? Or was that? Or was Montoya after?
That was prior to. Yeah.
Al Montoya.
The belt, the answer belt, has been vacated for a bit.
James Neal.
No, he was the real deal.
Yeah, he was the real deal. James.
He was the real steal.
So the answer caveat, the qualifier that we have is it has to be a person that's like in your bottom six,
or playing bottom 6 minutes, or somewhere in that.
Not a person that's being given every opportunity. They're just making the most of what they got.
Yeah. So like, if you're going to answer us ON Radio podcast, I don't want to hear Connor. We already know that
bottom 6 guys, because Ty Ratty and Chase both were playing with
bottom
Connor.
6 like level.
Those were guys that got elevated above their weight class.
Ty Ratty, weirdly enough, not on any other top lines in the NHL anymore, right? Chase on, same thing.
What? Crazy.
There's still time. There's still time. Before we get to hot and cold performers, I just want to look ahead at tomorrow's game against Vancouver real quick. Just a quick score prediction. And to steal Tyler's bit from ON every day, one key to victory. We're not going to do 3 because there's too many of us. Dan, what's your score prediction and one key to victory?
Well, I'm going to steal the obvious key to victory, which is don't play down to your opponent, which is something that they've done in the past with teams of Vancouver's ilk. My score prediction, just because I've heard Bruce Boudreau is getting fired on Monday, is 7-2.
Rick.
5-1 Edmonton, and just keep doing what you've been doing.
Tyler.
Yeah, I'll go similar to Rick. 5-2 for the Oilers. They'll be up comfortably and in charge the whole game. There's a little part of me that's worried about the Boudreau stuff. And maybe they're playing extra hard for him in his last game on Saturday, but I still think the Oilers will have more than enough to win.
Liam.
5-3 power play goal and an empty net. And the key to victory, fight and win.
Yeah, well, just keep the scraps going. Again, hockeyfights.com. You can go check out the Oilers scraps all you'd like. I encourage you to do so. For me, I'm going to go 4-2 win. And the key to the victory is keep playing simple hockey. Mm-hmm. We don't need to get pretty. Let's get greasy. Let's get grimy out there. Tyler, what are you enjoying on your screen over there? What are you watching?
I literally just have TweetDeck open.
You were just deep in there.
I've been zoning out a little bit. I'm a little tired. It's been a big content day for me. I was up early.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's been a lot of yawning in this room today.
I know.
I had a big one.
Yeah, I saw the big fella next to me over here. I saw him. I don't know if his came out because yours came out first, but yeah, it's been maybe crack a window in this place or something.
Well,
I just really need to drink like a good cold water.
Tap or bottled?
Water cooler.
Okay. Time to end off the podcast with hot and cold performers. Yes. As we do every week, we start off with our veggies. Liam, do you have a list today?
Yeah, he's been sitting on this for.
So I got a few.
All right, I'm just gonna leave Liam last. I'm just gonna let him run with it, and for as long as he needs, because if you were with Rick and I and Liam, we spent a whole day together in Vegas, and he was just collecting hot and cold performers as the day was going along.
We were barely turned everything off on Friday, and he was already at his hot and cold performers for next week.
So I'm going to start off with Nation Dan. You are up first. Your cold performer of the week.
I've been trying to come up with one, trying to stay positive this week. I don't even know.
Cold performer. How do you have a positive cold performer?
It's hard to come up with one.
So many.
Take a shit on someone. Let's go. Pick on someone. Let's go.
Yep. All of mine are negative.
Oh, well, I'm going to give it to the bus company that left us hanging at the end of the nation vacation. You're going to get my cold performer of the week.
Oh, that's cold.
There's a whole story there. Someday I'll tell about it. It's still a little raw right now.
Oh, that's cold.
I did. Well, kind of. We're still in the talk.
We're all here.
We
made it.
It's all about how you adapt to these issues. And we all got on the airplane. We all got back home.
All good.
Some of us got home a little bit quicker than the rest.
You know what?
Some of
Fuck
us
it.
are still bouncing on the runway.
Honorary cold performer of the week that Rick was able to update his seats to the front of the plane. By the time we got into customs, he was already in his car. I was so upset. We were roommates this whole trip.
Yeah.
Rick goes, "Oh, you got to upgrade your seat, pal." Like, get to the front of the plane with me. I was like, "Oh, I'm in." And then I go to upgrade my seat. They're gone. Meanwhile, I'm standing there like a schlub in a long line, and Rick's already out on the way to the door. Anyway, Rick, you're up next.
You know what? I kind of like when you see players come back and they have a bit of that nudge their buddies in the side act. But I do think that Pat Maroon took it a little far last night. So I don't know if there's some underlying reason, but we're gonna give it to Big Patty.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Mr. Yaremchuk, your cold performer of the week.
The way the Vancouver Canucks are handling their coaching situation,
Unbelievable.
So it's been said now for over a week, Rick Tocchet will be the new head coach. It's now been reported in so much detail because Tocchet had to give notice at TNT that Rick Tocchet will be hired on Monday, and he's already picked his assistants, and Bruce Boudreau is still being pushed out there. Give him the mercy firing. Bruce Boudreau is a legend in this game, and he is a legend and for being such a good guy and being a gentle soul to like the media and the public. He's an all-time good dude in this sport. And what the Canucks are doing to him right now, trotting him out there game after game when they know they've already replaced him, is brutal. The guy was doing his scrum today. And one of the reporters was like, "Hey, have you given any thought to maybe this is your last set of games as an NHL coach?" He got so emotional, he had to end the conference and walk away. The Canucks, cold performer.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Poor Bruce.
I can't believe they do it to him on Monday Night Raw. Like, right? Like Monday, like all the guy wants to do is sit down and watch wrestling.
Wrestling fan.
Maybe that's what'll help him.
Liam, I'm going to leave you for last here. I'm going to go just... The All-Star format this year is weird. I'm going to stay on brand. My boy should have been there. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is having the best first half to a season of his career. Deserves it. Not going to get there. It is what it is. He probably enjoys the days off, but ultimately he deserves to be there.
What the hell is going on?
Secondary cold performer to the fact the All-Star jerseys are like $370. What?
Really?
Yeah.
My Lord. All right, Liam.
However, so how many jerseys do we have to buy to make that thing go away so the cap goes up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Let's all get out there and buy a jersey. All right, Liam, unload the clip.
All right. I'll just give 3.
How many do you got?
Look at this.
I cut the list down.
All right.
I cut the list down. So
If you go quick enough, you can give them all.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I'll just go with my 3. So cold
'Cause he's
performer.
not
I'll go
going
3 to
fast.
1. 3 to 1. Number 3, the fish in my salad. Unexpected, to say the least. I've never had a Caesar salad with a fish in it. Didn't realize what it was after I ate the first one until I tracked down the second one at the bottom of the salad.
Wait, you ate one?
Oh yeah,
You ate a full sardine?
yeah, just plunking my fork in
Anchovy.
there,
Or
and
anchovy, yeah.
shoving it down my
That's
throat,
great.
and I thought, oh, this will make me feel good, and then voila, slimy fish.
This will make.
Just calmly, too. I found a fish in my salad.
What pod was that on?
Better late than never.
Okay.
Number 2, the lack of flamingos at the Flamingo.
Yes.
No flamingos.
We
They
went-
just weren't there.
Bird flu.
We walked to the Flamingo, and while we were in there, Rick, Liam, and I were just like, well, might as well go check out the flamingos.
Yep.
None.
Bird flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, legit bird flu. Same with the pelicans.
Yeah, no
So like
pelicans.
bird flu to the extent they're dead or they're just under the
don't-
weather?
No, they hit them just because it's out there. They're trying to protect them, I think, is what the sign said.
It said temporarily out of order.
Yeah. And going out, number 1, cold performer of the week. Speed track blockers at the airport. So a little backstory to this. We've all been to the airport where you hop on the little lane and you little speed walking.
The moving sidewalk.
Moving sidewalk. Well, wasn't moving very quick when I hopped on behind the Adams family, who decided to get onto the track and just stand there. The most frustrating part was, one, they obviously didn't move, and second, everybody walking past me on a regular path. So shout out to you guys. I hope you got home safe and sound.
Are you thrilled? I'm not.
I'm upset.
I want the rest of your list so bad.
I know.
Do you remember what else was on there?
There's so much stuff. I can't even remember. Honestly, shout out to the sidewalks being an ice rink in Vegas after it rained.
Yep.
That was big.
Yep. They were slippery.
They were.
Yeah, no, that's all I got.
Excellent.
The whole trip, there was so much to digest. That's all I got wrote down today.
I'm surprised. Next time you go, you got a running tally. Because if you had written down everything that you were complaining to Rick and I about, we would be here for another hour. All right, let's finish off the podcast with a hot performer of the week. You got more? Do you have multiples on this one too?
I got 3 again.
All right, Liam goes last.
I got 3.5. I got an honorable mention.
All right, I'll take that. I'm going to start first because I'm selfish and that's what I do. Number 1. I've never seen line management quite like we saw at the CVS we went into for a drink. That was
incredible. We
walked in and the line at the CVS was so long that we considered actually bailing on buying beers there and going somewhere else.
Yep.
But then we're like, we're here. Let's grab one. Instantly, they had a traffic controller. They had people pointing. There was somebody with like a shaker thing to get your attention. It was really, really impressive. So that's number 1. Most importantly, everybody that came with us on the Nation vacation, we don't get to do these kinds of things if it isn't for the incredible community that surrounds Oilersnation.com. Nation citizens are just fantastic people. And the fact that we had 50 of them with us, many, many, many more show up to where we were at for things like the watch party on Friday night. I'm incredibly grateful for everybody that was down there with us. I'm incredibly grateful for the staff that did a great job of... We cranked out a lot of stuff down there. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of thanks to go out to a lot of you, but most importantly, everybody that joined us.
He's a hot guy.
All of you. And I was going to get this one.
Feeling hot. Feeling hot.
Nation Dan, you're up next. Your hot performer of the week.
I'm just going to piggyback a little bit off that one, and I'm going to give it to the folks at Tom's Watch Bar, and that includes, our 50 that were there, the hundreds that showed up, as well as the staff and the management at Tom's Watch Bar. So a little peek behind the curtains for me.
Please give the story.
I had us planned to go back to our old bar that we were at in February of 2020. PBR bar, which we filled up and then started to fill the inside before they kind of got you guys on the bull and everything went crazy from there. But we were ready to go. I had my relationship set up and good to go, set it and forget it. Didn't even think to check back. Reached out in November to the manager, didn't get an answer. Thought that was weird. Checked the newspaper a couple weeks later. Turns out PBR bar shut down. Yep. So I was sent scrambling, as you do, sending emails to just about everybody in Vegas that I could get a hold of. And most bars in Vegas they operate with they need to have like $5,000 of cash ahead of time just to be able to save the space, bring in the staff, all that kind of stuff. Tom's Watch Bar did none of that. Really appreciate them stepping up and helping us out. They had those shots flying out like it was nothing else. It was an absolute blast. Everybody, we had such a great time. The staff was wonderful. It's just unbelievable to be able to go down to Vegas with as much anxiety and fear as I had, and just have those people there to help and bail you out at the 11th hour like they did. So Tom's Watch Bar, an absolute great time. Thanks to the Oilers fans that showed up.
It's getting hot in here.
Just real quick before we move on to Rick. Please quickly run through the story of how we almost didn't have a watch party. Not that we weren't there.
Or we didn't get to watch. Yeah, that's what I expected to hear here.
Yeah, well, so when you go down to the States, one of the things is with subscription services and broadcast now, you can't get the same feeds down in the States as you can in Canada anymore. So you have to have a thing called ESPN Plus. That's a thing that when I start every conversation, I started off right with, you got to be able to show Canadian teams on your TV. Something we had an issue with in Nashville, something we're going to have possibly an issue here in Vegas. So I was bringing everybody in, filing everybody in. We had probably at this point 150 Oilers fans in the bar.
It was a lot.
The manager comes over to me very calmly and very coolly and just says, just
20
so
minutes
you know,
before the game.
Yeah, just so you know, we don't have the channel. And so I just kind of stopped for a second. I said, thanks. I said, you guys got that? And I just walked away. And that was it. And it all got fixed. They got on the phone with Tom's Urban Corporate and they got him purchased it. It was real quick and fixed. But yes, I shed a little tear for that one.
The fact that, again, like, what did you say, 150 Oilers fans in that bar? Yeah. And this guy comes up to you and is like, hey, man, don't have it.
You had a backup plan for us.
Well, I had a bar down at the other end of the strip, Resort World, that was ready to take us on if we
wouldn't that have been a fun walk.
Oh, could you imagine the migration down the strip to get there?
Yeah, that would have looked pretty cool.
It would have.
I did not know that happened.
Yeah, that's part of trip management is keeping the fires away from the fans.
It's been up and down.
Anyways,
like a toilet seat, really.
Yeah,
there you go.
Up and down like toilet seats sometimes.
Yep.
All right, Rick, you're up next. Your hot performer of the week.
Well, you know what? If we're going to do multiples, then I got to go one, Gavin, for running down Jay's phone, which was incredible.
100%.
I'd still be out of breath if it was me. 2, I know I used this last week, but it worked afterwards too. So bagged milk in his rolling.
Yep.
He had like a 40-minute roll on the craps table, made us some dollars, but none of this stuff is possible if Big Dan doesn't take care of everything. And I didn't know about the bus thing. I knew about the hockey game part, but I didn't know about the bus thing. None of this stuff is able to happen without Dan doing this. So Dan, this is for you, buddy.
Pour it on!
There's stressful events. I know how these go.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, that was one of my hot.
I am also on the cold performer for next week now.
I'm going to go away from the Vegas trip. I'm going to give mine to Connor McDavid for the way he took over that hockey game last night against Tampa. He got pissed off, and we saw him hit that level that only McDavid can hit. This dude was stripping Victor Hedman at the blue line and then going in on a breakaway. This guy was scoring a big goal late and then selling big. McDavid, hot performer of the week.
Boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
All right, Liam.
All right. So
What do you got here, pal?
I have to do one off the Vegas trip, which I'll just give it to myself quickly.
Yeah.
I sat through Avatar 2 in theaters the other day. That was 3.5 hours long.
Was that a struggle?
I was getting a little agitated at some points, but I got it up there. Great seating down there at Landmark now. So
they have bananas?
No bananas. Other honorable mentions, fans at T-Mobile. Everyone was in very good spirits. It was fantastic there. Also, a shout out to the lady who didn't charge me for the Fiji water I didn't drink. That was $18.
That phone call in the middle of the pod was great.
That was big. So the top 3. Number 3. Dan's sunglasses.
Those were big.
That was big. That was clutched by Dan. He returned those today. Probably won't need to see those again until we go back to Vegas. Number 2. The band on Fremont Street.
Oh, my Lord.
Unbelievable. Hit after hit after hit. I can't believe they came up with so much stuff.
I've had debriefs with most of our staff now at this point, and everybody has said the dance party was something else.
Fremont's a place, man.
It was special. It was a special night. Number 1. The banana deal I got on Target. $2 for 6 bananas.
$2 US.
$2 US. You can't beat a deal like that. I couldn't pass it up. I'm good.
Also, honorary shout out to Captain Felton for he was going to be your roommate for offering you a banana as a peace offering.
Yeah. So when he gave me the banana, I had a banana in the other hand. I was already eating one.
If you joined us on the Nation Vacation, hit us up. Your hot and cold performers from the trip. I'd love to hear your experience. Just tweet those at us or slide into the DMs on Instagram, ON Radio Podcast. I want to give a shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle, Tourism Jasper, Betway, and again, chehockey.com. Join us for the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. That's where we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for listening, everybody.